There is panic in Statehouse as Edwin Sifuna releases a bombshell a day after his ouster from the Secretary General of ODM seat. Welcome to Kenya Lens Media, where we give you news updates as they break, and kindly if you are new here, consider subscribing. Now, the Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has openly rejected his removal as Secretary General of the Orange Democratic Movement, declaring the decision unlawful and vowing to continue serving in the role. His defiant stance has intensified internal divisions within Kenya's longest-serving opposition party, exposing deep disagreements over leadership procedure and party's future political direction ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking in Nairobi a day after the decision was announced, Sifuna dismissed the resolution by a section of ODM's National Executive Council as illegitimate. He argued that the process violated the party's constitution and the basic principles of natural justice. According to Senator, no lawful meeting of the NEC had the authority to remove a duly elected Secretary General without following clear disciplinary procedures. Sifuna insisted that he remains the legally elected Secretary General and a loyal member of the party. He framed the dispute not as a personal power struggle, but as a wider fight for internal democracy, fairness, and adherence to rules within political institutions. His remarks signaled that the crisis inside ODM is far from resolved and may worsen in the weeks ahead. The disputed decision to remove Sifuna followed a prolonged and heated NEC meeting held in Mombasa, where party officials reportedly argued for hours. The meeting ended with a resolution declaring that Sifuna had been removed from office with immediate effect, and party leaders supporting the move accused him of repeatedly acting against ODM's official position and prioritizing personal views while holding a senior post. The fallout was immediate and public. Several senior ODM figures appeared alongside Sifuna to affirm their support and questioned the legitimacy of the NEC decision. Among them were Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Ososi, Siaya Governor James Orengo, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Wino, and East African Legislative Assembly Member Winnie Odinga. The presence highlighted the scale of resistance to the decision and underscored the deep factional lines within the party. For ODM, a party that has long presented itself as a disciplined and united political force, the public nature of the dispute marked a serious moment of reckoning. The disagreement is not only about the office but about the controls of party's ideological direction and decision-making process at a critical time. At the center of the conflict is Sifuna's firm opposition to any plan within ODM to support President William Ruto's re-election in 2027. Sifuna has been one of the most vocal critics of Ruto administration, frequently questioning its economic policies, governance, record, and political style. He maintains that Kenya cannot afford another 5 years under the current leadership. Sifuna has argued that sections of ODM's leadership have grown too close to the government, compromising the party's role as a credible opposition force. And in his view, his removal is a punishment for refusing to align with efforts to soften ODM's stance towards President Ruto and allies. Party officials backing the NEC resolution deny this claim, insisting that the decision was based on discipline and collective responsibility rather than ideology. They argue that senior party officials must publicly support agreed positions or step aside. This clash has exposed a broader debate within ODM whether to maintain a hard opposition line or adopt a more cooperative approach towards the ruling administration. Beyond policy differences, Sifuna has raised a serious concern about internal governance within ODM. He has challenged the recent leadership changes that were formally gazetted, claiming they were implemented without following constitutional procedures. In particular, he questioned the manner in which the new party leader was installed, arguing that the process lacked transparency and proper consultation. These claims have struck the heart of ODM's identity as a party founded on democratic principles and resistance to authoritarian decision-making. Critics of the NEC actions argue that bypassing established rules sets a dangerous precedent and weakens the party's moral authority to criticize similar behavior at the national level. Supporters of the NEC counter that extraordinary circumstances required firm action to restore discipline and unity. They argue that prolonged internal dissent at the top risked paralyzing the party and confusing supporters across the country. The crisis comes as a sensitive moment in ODM's history, and for decades, the party has been closely associated with Raila Odinga, whose leadership helped hold together diverse functions and manage internal disputes. Following Odinga's exit from active party leadership, unresolved tensions that were once contained have begun to resurface more openly. Factional struggles within ODM have intensified as different leaders position themselves for influence in a post-Raila era. Analysts note that the dispute involving Sifuna reflects a broader struggle over who will shape the party's future identity, strategy, and alliances. Without a single unifying figure, ODM now faces the challenge of managing internal competition while maintaining cohesion. The risk that prolonged infighting could weaken the party's national standing and erode public confidence. All eyes are now on the ODM National Delegates Convention scheduled for March 26. The meeting is expected to bring together delegates from across the country to elect party officials and settle key leadership questions. For many observers, the convention represents a critical test of whether ODM can resolve its disputes through democratic means. Supporters of Sifuna view the NDC as an opportunity to reaffirm his mandate and reverse what they see as an unlawful decision. Those backing the NEC believe the convention can legitimize recent changes and restore order. However, there are concerns that if the process is not handled transparently, it could deepen divisions rather than heal them. The outcome of the convention will likely determine not only Sifuna's political future within ODM, but also the party's broader direction ahead of the next general election cycle. The standoff within ODM matters far beyond the fate of one party official. As Kenya's main opposition party, ODM plays a crucial role in shaping national debate, holding the government accountable, and offering voters an alternative vision. Internal stability risks weakening what role at a time when economic pressures and governance concerns are high. The dispute also highlights a recurring challenge in Kenyan politics, the tension between strong personalities and strong institutions. How ODM resolves this crisis will signal whether political parties can uphold internal democracy and role-based leadership, or whether power struggles will continue to override formal structures. As the March convention approaches, the stakes remain high. A credible, transparent resolution could strengthen ODM and restore public confidence. A flawed or contested outcome, however, could fracture the party and reshape the opposition landscape in unpredictable ways. That is all for today from Kenya Lens Media, where we give you news updates as they break. Kindly, if you're new here, consider subscribing as a way of motivating us and helping this channel grow as we bring you contents from Kenya and beyond.